Welcome to this Evolve FM video tutorial, the Application Grid Interface. Application grids in Evolve FM are used to manage data records stored in the Evolve FM database. They can also be used for interactive tabular reporting, which we discuss in our Creating a Grid View tutorial. So let's take a look in Evolve. The grid interface provides the controls used for working with data records. The grid view shown here displays individual data records in rows similar to a spreadsheet, and each column of the grid displays the Evolve FM attribute data assigned to each. Up in the top left corner of the grid is the Application menu. When clicked, it displays a list of all of the modules within the Evolve FM application. We have the Space module selected here. And if you notice to the right of the application icon, the active module name is displayed there. Here we have the page bars associated with the active module. We're in Space, which provides properties, buildings, floors, space, and occupants. If I click the Properties page, I see a list of all of my properties I have in Evolve FM. The Buildings page allows me to manage all of my buildings in Evolve. Floors, space, and occupants, of course. So we're going to be working in the Space grid. Right below the page bar is the Grid menu. So let's take a look at More Actions. The More Actions flyout provides access to the Export List function. Use this function to export the grid data out to Excel. It also provides access to the Import List function, which is not shown here. All of these functions and controls in the grid are controlled through user permissions, so this user login does not have permission to the Import List function. Display options control how the grid list layout is viewed. So List View formats the layout to better fit a smaller screen such as an iPhone or a tablet. Grid View formats the list for larger screens. This is also the grid view that you want to have active during your import or export list functions. Auto Detect, when selected, allows Evolve to choose between List View or Grid View, depending on the device you use at login. Open allows you to select a record in the grid list and open its associated dialog form. Here you can make changes or edits as needed and save the record. In this case, we'll just cancel. In the Space grid, the multi-select function is available. If you multi-select data records and click Open, you'll have access to the Edit Multiple Spaces dialog. This dialog is used to edit multiple space records at one time. Any edits made there will automatically update all selected data records in the grid. The multi-edit dialog is available in the Space grid, in the Asset grid, and also in the Drawing viewer. To remove records that are no longer needed in Evolve, select the data records in the data grid and click Remove. The New function, when clicked, will open up the dialog form to a blank record. So fill in the data as needed, save to create a new data record in Evolve. The Filters control opens up the Advanced Filters panel. This panel can be used to perform an advanced data search. It also holds the controls for your user-defined grid views, so you can manage your grid views here and select a grid view to display in the grid. The grid list itself contains all active records related to the selected page. So we are in the space grid, so these are all of our active space records in the evolve-FM database. Located down here in the bottom left corner is a record count, so we can see exactly how many data records are in this grid list. Column headers. Each column header, as we said, identifies the attribute data stored within. If you click a column header, you can sort that data column in ascending or descending order. You could stretch data columns as needed to resize them. You can also reposition data columns by pulling and dragging. So you can arrange your grid list in any format needed for a particular tabular report that you need to export. If you hold your cursor to the right of any data column and click, you expose the column menu. From this menu, you can again sort the column in ascending or descending order, or expose the column list. You can use this list to hide or show columns in the grid list based on their selected state. So if you unselect space name, notice it disappeared from the space grid and description. The controls at the top and the bottom of the list are used to scroll through the list. And to close the menu, just click off to the right. The active column control, located in the bottom right-hand corner of the grid, identifies the column that is currently selected in the grid list, in this case space class. So if we look up here, we can see that space class is the active column. You can also choose an active column by picking from the pick list. So now we can see that space subclass is the active column. And we can use this sort control to sort that column in ascending or descending order. The quick search in the top right corner works together with the active column control. So the quick search will search the data in the active column for whatever is entered in the criteria text box here. So we'll put in the word room and execute the search. So Evolve searches the space subclass column for data that contains the word room. So let's clear that. The filter bar on the right also works with the active control column. So if we select space category as our active column, and we could see here now space category is selected in the grid list, and then came over to our filter bar and chose a character in the list. We'll choose U. So that will filter the space category column to any data record beginning with the letter U. The filter control here lets you hide or show that filter bar. And the scroll bar to the right of the filter bar lets you scroll the data grid up or down. You can also scroll the data grid using your mouse, which I find a little faster than the scroll bar. So this concludes the application grid interface tutorial. For more information about creating grid views for tabular reporting and utilizing the grid search features, please visit our corresponding video tutorials. For more information about evolve-FM, please visit our website at www.simplesolutionsfm.com. Thank you for watching.